In this video, I'm going to demonstrate a full body mobility routine that can help eliminate pain, bring better range of motion, improve your posture, and bring you better gains in the gym. Mobility has been one of the biggest challenges that I've seen with my clients over these last 8 years. Hi, I'm Kaylee Montoya Houston, and I'm a NASM certified personal trainer. I have made it my mission to help people regain their mobility in order to make quicker and faster gains in the gym. All right, so we're going to start off with 10 bodyweight squats. So we're using this as kind of a judge and a test to showcase how well these mobility movements work. So no warm-up, no nothing. We're just going to do 10 bodyweight squats, and we're just going to see and really try to remember how far we can get down. If you're noticing any kind of aches and pains, or if there's anywhere in your body that is pulling or just in general feels uncomfortable. The first mobility move of the day we're going to do is child's pose. And lucky for you, all these movements that we're going to do don't require any equipment. So you just need either a soft mat or carpet in order to perform these moves without any kind of pain. So we're going to go right into the child's pose. So we're going to be on our knees, and you're going to stretch forward as far as you can with your arms and let your butt sink back as far as you can to your heels. And I just want you to think to yourself, you're taking in some big, deep breaths and letting that breath out. And you're just trying to sink your head as close to the ground as you can. And we're just going to stay in this pose. You can shift your hips back and forth a little bit. Sometimes that helps get a nice deep stretch. You can even reach forward and angle one arm higher than the other. So I'm doing my right side right now. I'm going to switch, stretch with that left arm a little bit further to help really hit the sides of our body. And we're just going to hang out here for about a minute, minute and a half before we move on to the next exercise. And we're moving on to the next one. So the next one is a 90-90. It's a very common mobility movement, and it's one that can be quite challenging. So as you can see my setup here, 90-90 is a reference for your legs. So your front leg is going to be in a 90 degree. Your back leg is going to be in a 90 degree position. This is something that I see done wrong a lot. So most people are going to have their legs kind of bent in like this. This is going to make the movement a lot easier on you, and we don't want it to be easy. You want to be challenged in this movement. So get my legs back out. Most people, including myself, we're going to need a prop. So I'm using my arm to help hold me up nice and straight, tall chest. So we don't want to be sitting in this rounded position. So using that arm, some people can even put a yoga block underneath that hand. It's going to help bring you up and prop you up even more if you need. So we're going to start this movement, and we're going to do reps of 10 each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean forward over my leg as far as I can, remembering to keep that chest nice and tall. And I am thinking to myself, I'm driving my knee into the ground, driving in, pressing in, holding, and then relaxing. So you're going to think each time you lean forward, you want to drive that knee in for 3 to 5 seconds and relax. So each time I'm leaning forward and driving that knee in, you should feel the whole underside of that front leg light up. So you're activating those muscles and relaxing. So you're going to do this 10 times on each side, 10 times total. So 5 on each leg. And now I'm going to switch and get set up for the other side, making sure both my legs are in a 90-90 position. You will notice, as I do, so my right side that I'm in right now, I'm a little stiffer. That's quite common. So again, as we're leaning forward, really driving that knee down and back up. A lot of times having your arm out, thumb up, can even help you remind yourself to keep that chest tall, because if you sink down like this, we're just not going to get as good a stretch. So we always want to think nice tall posture, leaning forward and driving that knee through the ground to activate those glutes, your hip flexors. A way to step it up, if you find maybe you can perform this movement easier than most. So as you're leaning forward, you can also, you'll see my back leg here, you can try to drive that other leg up off the ground to activate more and back down. If you notice any kind of cramping during this process, of course, rest, reset, and then keep moving. So we're performing each one of those 5 a leg, and then we're going to move on to the next one. Our next movement is called a combat stretch. So what we're going to work on is the flexibility and the mobility of your ankles, which is, we're all quite common to be stiff in this area, and it's one of the main movements that is going to help any kind of squat or lunge pattern. So what the intention here is, we're seeing how far you can drive your knee over your toes without your heel coming up off the ground. So however you need to brace, you can hold onto the ground, you can hold onto your knee, and my goal is to drive that knee over my toe. And when I do this and get to my end range, what I'm going to try to think to myself is, I'm going to try to pull my toes off the ground towards my shin and then relax. So kind of relax and then out of it. I'm going to dive forward again with that knee, pulling that toe up to my shin. So when you pull that toe up, you should feel your calf engage and then relax. And then just like that 90-90, going forward, pulling that toe up. You're going to do 5 on each side. So after you get 5 on one side, you're going to switch to your other side. Again, driving that toe over as far as you can, and really making sure you're keeping that knee on the outside. So you're not wanting this knee to cave in like this. So driving forward as far as you can without pain, and pulling that toe up off the ground, and then relax. So again, if you feel anything of discomfort or pain or cramping, definitely just give yourself a break and then go right back into it. And once you get 5 aside, we're going to move into the next movement. Our next movement is possibly one of my favorite movements that I do with almost every single one of my clients, and this is thread the needle. So this movement is going to target your upper back, so your thoracic and your shoulders, and is one of the most beneficial out there. So just thread the needle. We're going to start in a tall, like high knee, like all 4 position. And what you're going to do is you're going to start with one hand, palm up, and I'm going to reach under my other one, reaching out as far as I can. I'm going to press my palm into the ground, and I'm going to drive that shoulder to the ground, and I'm going to pull back towards my shoulder, but kind of staying in place so we get that nice stretch, and then back up. And I'm going to alternate this one. So I'm going to reach across, driving that shoulder down as far as I can, and then pulling back and away. So this is where you get the most deepest stretch in that upper back. And back and forth. Reaching out, back of the hand towards the ground, driving that shoulder, pulling back and away. And what you'll notice, and what you may even see in this video, is as I'm doing this, I'm finding it easier and easier to get my shoulder to the ground. And don't be discouraged if maybe this is your starting place. So some people might not have that mobility already, and so this is where you're starting at. And then hopefully you can work down till you can get that shoulder to touch the ground. Okay. Alright, so you know how we just ran through one of my favorite mobility movements? Well, this one is probably one of my least favorite, but one of the most important ones to do. So after you see me demonstrate this, do not skip it, okay? Give it a shot. So this is called a handcuff with rotation, and you're going to understand why in just a second. So I am going to be face down in this video, so hopefully you can still hear me. So as we set up on a soft surface, we're going to lay down on our belly, and your forehead is going to be on the ground. So when we start this movement, you're going to start with your hands out as far as you can, up off the ground. So my forehead is on. You should probably already feel your low back, your shoulders. And we're going to sweep back, nice and slow and controlled. you're going to get to a point where you have to rotate your hands up, palm up, and then I'm going to cross my hands in the back, and what I'm going to try to do is pull my hands back and away. Already, this move is going to be challenging. We're going to do this 5 times. So pulling, you can probably see me shaking, and then nice and slow, back up. Reach out in front of you as far as you can, and what you're going to try to do once we get here is you're going to flip your palms up as much as you can, and I'm going to reach and try to touch my upper back, my shoulders, and unwind them back out, reaching out, and back down. We're going to repeat this process, pulling away, and back down. So where this is usually the most difficult is when I'm reaching up above my head. You're going to feel your back strain. Your shoulders are not going to want to cooperate. So you're trying to do this as best as you can. If this is it, that's it. You're just going to try to do the best you can here. And back out. We're going to repeat this, like I said, 5 times. And you should be sweating by the end of this. This is hard work. This is not something that is just lax. Oh. There you have it. Don't skip it. Up next, and last one of today, is what is a movement called the wall press. So you're going to find yourself an open wall. This is the only open wall I have, so sorry about this angle in this shot. But you're going to have some really key points that you're going to want to focus on here. So first thing we're going to do, depending on how you're built, this is going to be different for everyone. Some people are going to be able to have their feet closer to the door. Some people are going to have to step away a little bit. Those with bigger booties are going to have to angle their feet a little bit farther away from the wall. So what we're going to do is make sure your butt is pressed against the wall, your shoulder blades are up against the wall, and the back of your head. So you want those contact points to remain. And so what you're going to notice right away is when you put your head back like this, you're going to notice, hey, there's this big gap in between your low back where that low back is not touching the wall. So what we're going to do is you're going to reach up with your hands, and you're going to want the back of your elbow and the back of your hand touching the wall at all times. And then what I'm going to try to do is force my low back into the wall. So you're doing like an anterior pelvic tilt or a posterior, pelvic tilt. And then relaxing. And then back again. Driving that low back into the wall. Keeping that head in contact, keeping the shoulders, and then relaxing. You're just going to do this 5 times, making sure, and don't get discouraged. Like I said, some people might not be able to get their hands to touch. So if that is you, that's the first thing we're going to try to do is just get your hands to touch and your head. Once you can get that, then you're going to work on that low back. But you're thinking you want your butt to shift to where you're tilting and pushing that low back into the wall. Good luck. So you just completed those 6 mobility movements, and now it's time to retest your body weight squats. Your body should be feeling much better. You should have maybe even a nice sweat going on. And so now we're just going to perform 10 more body weight squats. And you should notice right away how much easier these 10 squats are. Maybe you can get lower in them. Maybe you notice, hey, my knees aren't creaky and they're not achy. My hips feel good. My low back feels good. You should notice right away after performing this video in entirety, just once, you'll already see progress. You just wrapped up your first full mobility routine. You should already be feeling the benefits. Like I said, noticing the difference in those first squats to the last 10 squats. Do remember, you're going to get out of this what you put in. So making sure that you're pushing yourself in these movements and feeling those stretches and being very active. The more you do this, 1 to 3 times a week is where I would recommend you start. The more that you do this, you're going to reap greater benefits. So you're going to reduce your pain. You're going to gain mobility. You're going to be able to help yourself improve that posture and actually see more gains in the gym. And if you're struggling with any of these movements, just drop a comment below and I'll be able to give you some variations of these movements so you can continue to improve where you're at.